Hello, my name is Catherine, and I am trying to learn how to make videos with my cell phone and set up lighting and all of the different things that you need to do in order to be able to make videos. I am going to be posting them and sharing my progress as I go. I have chosen my frog to use as my first thing to practice with because it's in the middle of being finished. I have already posted a little short video that I made last year of progress with it on my page or YouTube, whatever you want to call it. It's not finished. It has been sitting in limbo for almost a year, but it has had more done since the last video. So I'm just going to show you where it's at tonight and talk about my background and go over a few things. And then every so often, as I do another step on it, I will film it and I will show you what I've done. Hopefully I will be improving on communicating with you. Hopefully there will be an improvement for how I'm setting up things and lighting. At least that's the hope. Also, I want to be able to document things I'm making so that I can keep a record of what I'm producing and my progression. Little backstory about me, I am disabled. I became a paraplegic in 1988. I am a survivor of a rare autoimmune neurological disease. It's called transverse myelitis, and it attacked my spinal cord, and well, my body attacked my spinal cord in response to a virus that I had contracted. And basically it stripped the outer coating, which is called a myelin sheath, that is on my nerves in my spine, and caused permanent nerve damage. And like I said, when I was 14, I was a paraplegic. I had a really amazing recovery. I had many health issues, but I was able to do so much that I was never supposed to be able to do for the amount of damage that I suffered. Regardless, I was very lucky. And when I gave birth to my daughter in 2002, I had a relapse or a flare-up from that, and it caused pressure on my spine, and I ended up having a bunch of issues from that. It's too much to go into detail, but basically I ended up back in a wheelchair, and I have a lot of medical complication issues that I haven't really had to deal with to this severity since I was a child. So I am permanently disabled. I live with a lot of pain. And many years ago, I decided that I needed to find some kind of an outlet to keep my mind active, to help me deal with my stress and frustration with myself and my situation, so that I can keep my sanity, basically. And if you don't find a way to keep your mind active and keep learning new things, it can cause detrimental issues to your cognitive functions. So I thought about it a lot, and I decided that I was going to try art because I had researched a little bit on art therapy and how useful it could be. So I gave it a shot, and I slowly started working on different crafts and art. And over the years, I've progressively gotten more in depth in it. I eventually started doing polymer clay. I do many other things, but I focus a lot on polymer clay because it's a great outlet for me. I'm able to zone out and not concentrate or think about the pain that I'm in. It's a way for me to actually be able to produce something that I can look at and say, look, I made this, and have some pride. I started this actual project last year. I watched a tutorial and I started making this. It's the first art doll that I've actually attempted to make. I watched the tutorial on Curious Mondo, and the instructor was Mellissa Terlizzi. I hope I said her name right. I apologize if I didn't. It was a fantastic tutorial. This is not what she made. Not even close. Because I'll follow tutorials only so far, and then I get inspired by something or I go a different direction. So usually my stuff does not end up looking like whatever I learned from, because I just get inspired and start making whatever. But I learned an immense amount from that tutorial. It was incredibly useful. I'm sure I would have figured some of this out on my own, but it was so wonderful to be able to follow along and use the techniques and skills that she was teaching. And I think from it I made a beginning of a really good frog. Again, I'm not finished with this. I've got a long ways to go. But it really turned out pretty nice so far, I think, for a first attempt. And here's the underneath. Sorry. I'll go ahead and spin it around so that you can see. And of course, the feet are more rough on the bottom than on the top. Slowly, I will improve on that and start to get better. I even made a little bottom for it. So again, this is my first attempt. I'm sure that as I do it, it will slowly improve. I'm going to slowly turn it around so that you can see different angles of it. And my intentions are to use this again as my practice run for making videos and posting them. I figure as I progress for different steps, I will just take new pictures of it and share it with you. My next thing that I'm planning on doing is I need to sand and buff the eyes just a touch more, and then I think I'm going to try to UV resin the eyes. At least that's the plan. I may end up using something else to seal them, but I think I'm going to use UV resin on the eyes. And once I finish that, then I will go ahead and take another video and post what I've done. I'm undecided at this point on whether I'm going to add another like little rim for another eyelid, or if I'm just going to leave it as is. I may just leave it as is and then just paint some detail on it. I'm not sure where I'm going with it. I'm going to wait until after I've done the resin and go from there. I started doing clay quite a few years back, but before I started doing clay, I started studying how to do polymer clay for many years. It took me over 3 years before I had accumulated enough supplies and tools to be able to start practicing and learning polymer clay. Yes, I know many people just use toothpicks and all of that, but there's a lot of supplies and tools that you need in order to be able to do polymer clay. And I am very limited on income, so I just spent those 3 years checking out books from the library, reading different books, studying, and watching many free tutorials online for using polymer clay. I was watching other tutorials in that time frame also, because I'm constantly learning how to do different art. Most of the art that I create are gifts from my daughter. This was also a wonderful outlet for me to deal with my pain and stress and all of that, and not be depressed. It was a way to keep myself positive. But I was also able to slowly hone my skills and make my daughter really beautiful items that I can't afford to purchase for her. So it was a way that I could give her very special, unique, one-of-a-kind pieces of art that I wouldn't be able to buy for her any other way. And she always gets excited with the different projects that I'm making her. I also make gifts for friends because a lot of my friends over the years have bought me tools and machines, different art supplies, so that I can keep doing this because I can't afford to purchase this stuff. So they'll buy me a gift every so often, and I'm really grateful for their kindness and generosity and supporting me on this endeavor. So I try to make them gifts as thank you, and also because I love them and I appreciate them helping me and showing me kindness. No, I don't sell anything because I can't produce enough to be able to make a living at this. Maybe someday that's a wonderful dream and it's something to focus on for a possible goal in the future, but as it stands right now, I'm not physically well enough to where I could do this on a productive level to be able to make a living at it. I hold out hope that eventually, maybe someday, but that's not where I'm at. That's not what I'm focusing on right now. Right now, I'm doing art therapy and I'm trying to learn a new skill so that possibly it could be something in the future. But right now, it allows me to be able to record what I'm doing, and hopefully I will be able to share this with other people and inspire them, and maybe find other people who are doing the same. I don't know. Any suggestions or recommendations you have on lighting or setting things up for a camera, for anything really, I would really appreciate feedback and suggestions and help. I'm not interested in people browbeating me or insulting me or being negative. I don't have time for it. I'm trying to be positive and live the best quality of life that I can. I'm not going to fight with you if you're going to say mean things. I'm just simply going to block you and not engage with you because I don't have time for that. I'm very busy trying to survive and stay alive and raise my daughter on my own. So I'm not interested in arguing with anybody or insulting anybody. And if you feel that that's a forum that you need, I'm sure there's one out there for you, but this is not the forum for you because I'm only interested in being positive and inspiring to myself and to others. And if that's what you're interested in, hello, my friend. But if you're not, bye-bye now. I'll see you later. Anywho, I'm going to turn this around again so that you can take a look at this. And I am really pleased with what I've done so far with this frog. I'm going to point out a few things that I like that I've done, and then I'm going to point out some things that I definitely need to work on. First off, I am so excited and pleased with how these little, oh gosh, yeah, I've forgotten words, I apologize. Oh goodness, in between the toes. You're gonna laugh at me, but I honestly, right now, have no idea what you call them. It's lost in my brain. Anyway, I keep hoping that maybe if I move my hands, it'll come to me. It's there, but it won't come out. Anywho, I used translucent clay, and I used a tiny bit of green. That was the blend that I used to make the frog, so that it would be in the same tone and hue as the actual frog, but it would be see-through. And I'm not sure if you can actually see it because, you know, there's some blemishes and, you know, but honestly, I think that it adds to it because if you look at the actual, they're not fins. If you look at these on actual frogs, they have speckles and different things through them. So they're not like perfect. Anyway, I'm not sure if you can see that they're translucent. Hopefully that's coming through on the camera because I'm not looking at it because I'm down here and the camera is up here. Anywho, I really like the way they turned out. Now, Would I do it a little bit different next time? Yes. But for the most part, I'm pretty pleased because this was just me goofing around and experimenting and trying something. I had an idea in my head and I went with it. These feet were more than a challenge for me because I have not up to this point successfully been able to wrap clay around wire and have it not poke through and just look like a complete mess. Now, yes, there is issues with these. They could be better, but it's the first time I was successful in doing any of this. Some of the toes have really great detail on them, and some of them not so much. But, again, I'm learning. Overall, I am very pleased with the feet. The legs, I am so excited and happy with how they turned out. I used wire in them, which was one of the suggestions and things that she went over in her tutorial. She did not use wire in them, though, if I remember correctly. She just used the clay and put them on. But she did talk about using a wire armature for them. And I'm so glad that I experimented with it. It took me quite a few different bakes. Sorry, I keep picking at fuzzies on it because it's driving me nuts. Because it wasn't one bake. I did one part, baked it, then did the next part, baked it. I believe I did this part first, then I did the feet and the leg on the bottom, and then I went ahead and did the actual thigh part of the leg, and at that point, that's when I used Bake and Bond and actually stuck the wire in and attached it that way. If I remember correctly, that's how I did it. It's been a while. Like I said, this was last year that I did this. And you might not be interested in how I did it. I just thought I would share. These are also wire, and I put them in the same I don't know if this is making sense to anybody. The actual inside of this is aluminum foil for the armature that I made and wrapped it with clay, in case you're interested for that too. Again, her tutorial is fantastic, and I learned so many different skills from her. And I look forward to trying this again. It does not look like what she made. I think her frogs are fantastic, and I want to try it again and try to use hers as inspiration and kind of go that route. I didn't intentionally end up with this fella or girl. I don't know which it is. It's just, this is where I ended up going. And I am very pleased with how it turned out so far. I have a long ways to go, and I'm going to stop babbling at you. It was really nice to chit-chat and kind of let you know who I am and where I'm coming from. And again, if you're interested in watching, hello. And if not, thanks for taking a peek. Everybody have a great day or night, depending on where you are and what time you're watching this. Take it easy.